8:19 now the time here on this Sunday fun day morning. Great to have you with us, everyone, as you enjoy your Memorial Day weekend, maybe with a nice glass of wine this afternoon. Likely you won't have one that was aged at the bottom of an historic harbor.
Probably not.
Few people have. You may recall back in the spring, I think it was, early spring. Well, we're in the spring now still. I think it was in early March. We told you about an experiment going on by a Napa Valley winery, Mira winery, as a matter of fact, that was taking a case or so of their red wine, I think it was Cabernet, and they sunk it in Charleston Harbor to find out how it would age with the temperature being constant and the gentle rocking.
So it's an experiment of sorts.
For sure.
And is the idea it keeps the oxygen away? It's obviously temperature controlled. They don't have to worry about keeping the refrigeration going or whatever.
Yeah. And so I've just been sort of curious. I knew they were going to pull it up because the water in the Charleston area gets warm in the summer, unlike it does off the West Coast here.
So they bring it up.
They bring it up, and I think they're going to resink it. But we can find out because they just did it. Gustavo Gonzalez, the winemaker at Mira Napa, joins us right now with the update. Hey, Gustavo.
Hi there. Thanks for having me on again.
Yes, and so I was excited to get the press release in the inbox the other day, and I wish I could have been on the line. I know you guys held a conference call as well. So what's it taste like?
Well, it tastes drastically different from the onshore version, which was a big surprise for me because it hadn't been in the water that long. But it tastes quite different, noticeably different, and not just to a trained palate, but also to, let's say, an average type palate.
Yeah.
There was definitely a difference, so they couldn't really describe it. There was, or there is, I should say.
So you have a control group. I was wondering about that, like how you would know if it's aging well or not.
Right. Well, for this first round, it's really our experimental phase with the equipment and the procedure that we're using, because we intend to do a whole other batch of new wine in the fall, right? But for this first batch, we got an advanced sommelier from the Charleston area, and just a really quick rounding up of our office staff there, just to do a quick taste. It involved two experienced tasters, me and the advanced sommelier, and a couple people from the office that aren't quite as sophisticated palates as we are.
So I'm curious to know what the long-range plan is once you do this experiment. Is this something that you think you'll do constantly with your wine? Are you just doing this sort of for fun to see what happens, or what's the long-term goal?
I think in the long term, it could be something that we offer limited production of. Right now, we're still in the learning phase, so we did it with Cabernet from 2009, and we're going to go back with Cabernet in the fall, but we'd like to try other varieties, including white, just to see what happens. And what's interesting is one of the points that you guys made was that the water gets warmer in the Charleston area as you go into the summer, and we found that it got warmer earlier than we thought.
Oh, what was the temperature when you pulled it up this week?
When we pulled it up, the temperature was already getting close to 70 degrees.
Oh, yeah.
But it became that warm much sooner than we thought. It was cool for about 55 degrees for about a month or so, and then it gradually started going up.
Yeah, we don't ever see 70 degrees.
No.
Coast here. I know that the owner of Mira Napa has roots in the Charleston area, correct?
Right, that's correct.
And that's why you chose Charleston Harbor. But being a West Coast winery, and I may have posed this question last time, is there any thought to dunk it in the drink right off the coast here so that you don't have to worry about the temperature fluctuation?
Well, it would certainly make it easier on me because I wouldn't have to go as far to check it out. But yeah, we've had thoughts about doing it in the Monterey Bay or somewhere in the San Francisco Bay if possible. There might be a few more regulations out here to get that done, but for sure we'd love to try it closer to home.
That'd be cool if you could do it right off the Monterey Bay Aquarium and visitors to the aquarium could watch it.
Yeah, that would be neat. You can see it in the background maybe or something.
With an aquarium can.
That would be cool.
Well, you could tie it right into their big food and wine
Because I was going to say, they
yeah.
have those events. The people there who attend the events could taste the wine that's been sunk underwater.
That's right.
Right.
We have a plan for you.
Exactly. Follow us. So when will the public be able to try these wines?
Well, we're still trying to assess what the differences are, so we're still in the process of analyzing it now chemically and scientifically at a lab. And at some point, I think beginning in July, we might offer some up for sale on our website at miranapa.com. We don't know the pricing yet, but I think we put 4 cases down. We'll probably put a case up for sale.
Now these were anchored to the bottom in these in this like yellow crate that looked pretty daunting. If I was a shark or something, I couldn't get into it. You know,
if there are any sharks out there that like their wine.
Did you have any difficulty finding it, or it was really easy for you to get to?
No, we actually had difficulty. First of all, heading out there was an adventure in and of itself because on that part of the country they have these sporadic thunderstorms that we don't experience out here this time of year, or really ever. So to get out to the location, we went through like a Wizard of Oz type climate with a huge thunderstorm pounding down rain that felt like hail. And then when we finally got to the spot, it took us about 2 hours to actually locate the cages. So we had the scuba people kind of skimming the bottom with a rope, trying to feel around, and then we finally found them.
So instead of
my goodness, it's a learning process. You might want to put like some kind of a beacon or something that.
Well, that's the thing is we had a beacon, but I guess the beacons are only good for their range is about 10 feet or so.
Oh.
Okay.
So, we definitely had a beacon on there. We had some temperature monitoring stuff, all kinds of things. But the actual beacon itself was good for 10 feet of difference.
So you have to get close on your own, and then.
Yeah.
You have to get within a needle to the needle in the haystack.
That's right.
What's the water clarity like in Charleston Harbor?
It's pretty dark down there.
Uh-huh.
We were 60 feet down, so it wasn't necessarily easy to see either. It's just as you got closer, maybe you could start seeing the yellow cages. That's why we painted them yellow.
If I recall, you're thinking to sink this exact same batch again once the temperature drops down to a favorable level in the fall?
No, what we're going to do is we're going to start with a different batch, because this one, again, being the first phase that we're just trying to figure out the logistics of it, this wine was already land-aged, and so when we bottle our 2011 Cabernet, we're going to get a fresh batch that's never been land-aged and put that down for 9 months, and then maybe even leave like a case worth of it out down for a year.
Oh, a full year would be cool.
A full year, because what we're noticing is that we're thinking a lot about temperature before, and maybe the other parameters have an impact that kind of not necessarily cancels out the temperature, but has an effect where the temperature isn't as big of a deal on the aging.
So I like labels and I like clever wine names. Does this wine have a clever name? And you don't have to give away if you have clever names like for upcoming wines, because we don't want to give anyone else ideas. But just curious about if you're going to kind of come up with a theme for this underwater wine.
Well, when we first started talking about it, I kind of just jokingly threw out the term playing on the word terroir, acquar.
Oh,
right. So that's what we're calling this, our
that is
Charleston
clever
Harbor acquar wine.
Okay, good. I like it. You have my approval for that.
So as we're seeing with our video simulcast right now, the bottles were pre-labeled before they went underwater. What's the condition of the labels now? And maybe that's part of the whole charm of buying this.
Well, what happened was we had to take the labels off because they weren't going to survive that environment.
Okay.
And then we put fresh labels on with the name on after we took the bottles out. But what we intend to do going forward is we're going to etch the bottles.
Oh. So
that we don't have to tamper with what nature has, the type of artwork nature has done to the bottles in the course that it's been aging.
We like that too.
Yeah, that is. I never even thought of that. And that really raises the just the nice quality of what you're getting. I imagine these would go for quite a bit if you're only selling one case. That's limited production.
That's pretty limited, yeah.
Yeah. So, will it be an auction situation?
What we intend to do is first come, first serve to our wine club members first, and then whoever else wants to get in on it. And interestingly enough, from the first time people heard about it, when we put the wine in, we already had a bunch of people asking about it, that they wanted to buy some.
Right.
So it's going to go pretty fast.
So it's miranapa.com for people that want more information, MIRA, napa.com. Are you guys located on the Silverado Trail?
We are in between the Silverado Trail and Highway 29 in St. Helena.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, my favorite that's the sweet spot in the valley.
You have a nice place.
You have some nice work digs. Gustavo Gonzalez, winemaker at Mira Napa, updating us on their underwater wine experiment. We'll have you back again when we get further into this experiment. Thanks for joining us today, Gustavo. Enjoy your Memorial Day weekend.
Thank you very much. You too.
Stick around, everyone. When we come back, we're talking travel.